to push whatever project we're working on further. The same thing with my guys. If I'm not spending time with them, if I'm not instructing them, if I'm not first and foremost being their friend and their brother before I'm being their boss, like, we're not going to know how to lead this project, how to push this project. It's the same thing with the Holy Spirit. If I'm in relationship, if I'm not seeking advice, if I'm not listening, if I'm not obeying, it's going to be hard to have that vision in my life. And it's easy when you mess up and the Holy Spirit lets you know, hey, bud, we can't do that. It's easy for the addict, especially when you first get started. I'm just going to screw up. I'm always going to screw up. I'm always going to be this failure. I mean, that's what I am. I'm never going to succeed at nothing. There's no sense in trying. I just go bury my head in the sand, go back to the hole I was in. Nobody loves me. And you got a whole group of people that love you, that are encourage you, that are trying to build you up. But you just choose. No, they're going to reject me. They're going to think, oh, here he is again. He's messed up again. There's no hope. There's no saving him. Vision, I feel like, is something that's constantly. And you put yourself in a room full of believers, a room full of ex-addicts. Boy, the dreams that these dudes got, I'm talking about, like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible what we can dream up, what we can believe God to do. And seeing God heal us from addiction, heal us from anxiety, depression, all that stuff, like, gives you this faith and this burning passion, like, it just makes you believe the impossible. He's already done all this. I mean, he ain't going to stop now, Well,
I think it's neat that when you talk about the vision, you talked about the very first thing you started mentioning was pursuing God. Mm-hmm. And as you pursue God, God becomes your all. And as you were talking, I was thinking about one of the sessions that we had, and I wrote the word culture, or create culture. And so we talked a little bit about what culture is. Culture is, like if you want to go to Japan, and you really want to go to Japan, you want to live in Japan, you have to embrace the culture. Mm-hmm. You want to learn the language. You want to learn the traditions. You want to understand the people. You have and how they think, traditions. What tick, and what kind of music do they like, and everything that goes into a culture. You have to allow yourself to be assimilated into that culture, to embrace it, to go after it. It wouldn't do very good that 20 years later you're living in Japan and you still don't know how to talk Japanese. Right. It'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it? Yeah. And I think that all of us, not just the addicts or just us, but all those that are sinners coming to God, if we want to succeed in our relationship with God, we want to succeed in life, we have to do just that. We have to create that culture in our life. So God's got to be the center point of all vision. He's got to be the center point. And what do we have to do in order to embrace God? Those are the questions we have to ask ourselves. What do I need to make God my all in all, to embrace him, to make him the center of my culture? And as you go into another country, you have to ask the question, what do I need to embrace this culture, to become part of the people that are here? And how do I, as an addict, how do I go into this new world? It's really a kind of a new world, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That you're going into this new, I'm a new creation. All things have passed away. The old me is gone. The old lifestyle's gone. That old darkness is gone. And now I'm light. I'm a new creation in Christ. So how does that look like? How do I embrace it? How do I make that the culture of my life? Where it's all been negativity in the old world I live in, now I'm coming to this new world. And how do I create that culture in my life? How do I, all these visions that I have aren't going to go anywhere. I like how you said that, because you can have the vision all you want to, but if you don't have that center part of God in your life, it's all for naught, and it won't go anywhere. And so our vision in our life, we got to surround ourselves with that culture of Christ. What does that look like? Well, that looks something like I have to start thinking positive now instead of negative. Right. So I got to train my mind and my thoughts to think about good stuff and positive stuff.
Whatever is pure and holy. And
Philippians
just.
4:8. Yeah, think on those things. Break it apart. We do that in class. We break Philippians 4:8 down. We take each word, and we discuss what does that mean and how does that look in your life.
Right.
What does noble look like in your life? Adapt that. How do you make that? How do you become a noble person? What does that look like?
Yeah.
What is a person with good report? Things that are said good about you. What is true? And we discussed what is true. Now, how does true adapt into my life? So I take those things and I say, that's how I create the culture in my life. I adapt those things and I get rid of that other stuff, In some cultures, you don't handshake, That's not the way you greet. So, they bow or something, So you have to learn a new way of thinking. And because one other thing, in addiction, the opposite of belief for the addict is not doubt, but it's denial. You're living in denial, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the opposite of believing for the addict. But then it goes a step further, and it's called denialism. That's when you've got so much denial in your life that you've actually created this whole new world, this whole new bubble that you live in, and it's denialism. And we were laughing. It's kind of like the Truman Show. If you ever watch that movie, the Truman Show, it's this fake reality show where this little kid is raised up from a baby all the way to an adult, and he lives in this world, and he's got all these friends, and the entire town is nothing but a reality show, and he thinks he's part of a real world. And all it is a bubble. And for the addict, so much that's kind of representation of what they're living in. They're living. You said it and touched on it so many times, and I've heard all the guys talk about it. How this is the way that I thought. You talk about going in there and you're looking at all those dishes piled high, and you're looking at your surroundings, and it's almost like Truman is all of a sudden realizing, wait a minute, something ain't right here.
Yeah.
There's a crack in the bubble, and you had that moment where you're like, whoa. And I think that's God, the Holy Spirit coming down and saying, that's the mama's prayers and the papa's prayers and the family praying and saying, help him to see, and God's helping you see, and you're seeing, and you didn't even notice those dishes before.
No.
And it's like, I don't know if you can relate to this. I'm sure you can. I think most people can. You've got some flaw in your house. You have a little stain from some rain that came in, and you say, I got to fix that one day. I got to get up there and I got to paint that. But if I do, I got to paint the whole ceiling. So you kind of put it off, and after a while, you kind of get used to that stain there. You don't even notice that stain in the ceiling anymore. But a visitor will come in.
Well, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
And that's the first thing they see is that stain on the wall. But you haven't noticed it. That's that denialism that so many addicts live in. They're living in that they've created an entire world full of falsehoods and untruths.
And so sin's the same way. So if you don't
Exactly.
surround yourself with fellow believers, that sin, you just get used to it.
Right.
But you have a brother in Christ comes up, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yep.
It's that rip in the wall.
That's good.
It's the roof leaking with the hole in the ceiling.
That's right.
But you've gotten so used to it, it's just life.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
That's right.
We're going to plug 8 Oaks Recovery, the phone number one more time. If you or anyone that you love is in need, you can reach out to 1-800-576-4396. Once again, it's 1-800-576-4396.
Let me say a plug for you too, Brandon. The guys that every time they come out, one of the new guys come through 8 Oaks, and then they go to Monday Night Living Free at 6:00. They come back just absolutely amazed at your testimony.
Yeah.
And they are so encouraged and they're pumped up. And the next day we have these ends that we have. We have a process, we call it, and we just sit down, we just talk about what their mood is and all that kind of stuff, some positive things that are going on in their life. And one of the things they always mention as a positive is your testimony and how it inspired them and how it encouraged them.
That's awesome.
And I just want you to know, man, you're doing a wonderful job. You're doing the work. God's moving, and you just keep following Him.
Absolutely.
And So many guys. You said 65 guys, and I think about living free. Now here's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
The good thing is that living free is exploding. It's growing like crazy. The bad thing is that it's growing and it's exploding like crazy.
Yeah, ain't got no room to put them.
And that so it's a good thing because we're reaching so many people, but it's also a bad thing because I think it also demonstrates how many people are hurting out there,
absolutely.
and how many people are desperate for help and desperate for God to just come down and touch their lives. And they're seeing something happening on Monday nights. And as well as some of the other support groups around here. We have Celebrate Recovery on Friday nights. And we have another group that just started. What was the name of it again? Help me.
God Will Provide.
God Will Provide. So there's a lot of good things going on here in Lawrenceburg. And we just got to come together, work together, and make sure that that one day Lawrence County will be drug-free, addiction-free.
I know you talked about a guy that came to United a while back and about his wife, and so even post-addiction and, becoming the man I needed to be to deserve the type of wife that I have, was extremely difficult, and I probably still don't deserve her. My wife is amazing. I tell my guys all the time, like, walking in obedience, doing relationship the way that God intended, which me and Lady B did, getting married the way that we got married, having the babies that I didn't have what I had. Spiritually speaking, mentally, monetarily, I just didn't. But then you get married, you do what God called you to do, you have babies, like God just provides, God takes care, God empowers. I can't tell how much just strong in every aspect of my life I've gotten just simply by marrying my wife.
Yeah.
Just by community, by having a teammate who pushes me. No one's going to pray for me more than my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. And there's been a couple instances in our relationship where she just told me I've gotten off the altar for you. She's mad at me. She said, we're going through this, we're going through that. And I can feel that. I can sense that. I know that. And the same way with her, like, she desperately needs my prayers. I desperately need her prayers. My kids desperately need us to be in good communion, in good relationship with the Lord, so me and her's in good relationship. They need to see my wife and me reading the Bible every morning. That needs to be normal. They need to wake up, this is just what you do. Like, the relationship that we have is so important. I wouldn't be the man that I am today without not only relationship from the church, not only relationship from other addicts in recovery and people with the same like-minded, trying to get to the same place. My mom and dad never giving me up on me, being my biggest fans. God providing a wife and a family, like all this stuff just plays such a huge
Putting
part.
those positive people in your life.
Absolutely. But none of that would have came true if I didn't fully surrender my life to Christ and have that vision, that desire, that burning passion that we were talking about.
And it also takes a heart like you have is that humility that you have that is so essential. And what I admire about you is you always are uplifting your wife, and you're always talking about how your wife makes a difference in you, and that's just not the norm with a lot of guys. You get a bunch of guys together, and they want to trash their wives. They want to talk about the negative stuff, and I've always irritated me.
Yeah.
My old lady this, and you've never been like that. You've always uplifted your wife, and so it takes humility. It takes a burning passion to have a vision for your life. It takes that support system, to get good, positive people in your life. And I would just say, those who are going through recovery right now, if you don't have that mom and dad, maybe you don't have that wife, find other replacements. Find that church to become part of that group. Get a hold of a good support group out there that can become your family, because that is going to be very, very important to your recovery.
Absolutely. I can think of even when I first got to United. It was me and Dwight Davis and
John.
Me and Dwight. Basically, there was Dennis Wood would show up, but he was going to Florence a lot. John Frank, Robert. Yeah. There's a bunch of people that you're saying just it doesn't have to be the mom and the dad, but it's a community of people who truly want to see you grow, overcome. Right. It's people that hold us accountable, And I 100% would not be the man I am today And that's a big community. I mean, I can sit here and think about a lot of people, Dave and Steph and you and the twins. I know the twins have prayed for me. Holy smokes, ain't no telling how much. You know, we always did Joe ministry together. Me and the twins were always together until I got married, and then they got married, and then they realized, holy smokes, you really don't have no time. They're fixing to have some kids, and
life changes.
Yeah, life changes for sure. But those people that have been there for me, like, I will never forget. And 100%, I truly understand and know that their relationship, their prayers for me. I mean, I can't tell you how many times just seeing one of the twins will hold you accountable. You're just like, uh-oh. You know, that's who they are. It's the same thing with my dad's. You know, it's just being around someone makes you don't even have to say nothing. Just being around that person, it just makes you better. It's all there is to it. To give just a little bit of hope, once again, how much more time we got? 3 minutes. To give just a little bit more hope about, I know there's so many moms, there's so many dads, there's so many wives, there's so many husbands that's just they've given up. This is all I can do. I can't do anymore. And like you said, sometimes you do have to take a step back. Sometimes you do have to arrange your life, but you don't have to give up.
Right.
You can still love them. You can still pray for them. You can never quit praying. You can never. A lot of people have came to me and they don't understand why their daughter. They don't understand why their son. I don't understand why I was healed. I don't understand why I was set free. I don't. There's a lot of questions I have too. Why? I mean, there's a lot of questions. A will and spirit, me desperately wanting it, me desperately going after it.
This is WDXE, W287AA, and W237FD Lawrenceburg. Broadcast services of Prospect Communications.
Let's do this!
This is The Rich Eisen Show with guest host Andrew Siciliano.
We all need to do a better job. It's everybody.
Live from The Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.
Hey, Andrew, when Brady left, I said to Chris, welcome to the rest of us.
The Rich Eisen Show. Today's guests: NBC Sports Boston Patriots insider Tom Curran, Colts running back Zach Moss, plus your phone calls, latest news, and more. And now, sitting in for Rich, it's Andrew Siciliano.
You know what's amazing here? Hi, everybody. It's Andrew sitting in for Rich. Just tweeting everyone, hey, listen to the show or watch the show. We're on the Roku channel today. Obviously on the Odyssey app, on SiriusXM and all that. And I just tweeted on my account at my name, common spelling, that we're on the air.
Common spelling.
Nobody here was ready to get on the air. I was. I want you to know that. I was ready to talk about the thrilling 17-13 Raider victory last night. Yes, and why Josh McDaniels inexplicably decided to kick that field goal. Again, like another primetime analytics meltdown. You should have punted, for Pete's sake, if you're not going to go for it. We'll get to that in a second. I was ready to talk all about that. But these guys, good morning to Chris Brockman.
Hello, Andrew.
Michael Del Tufo.
Good morning.
TJ Jefferson.
Andrew, you know something? We stay ready, so we ain't got to get ready, baby.
These guys were not necessarily ready.
Oh, sure.
As Hoskins from the control room literally had to get in everyone's ear. Show, like, we're on.
We knew.
Because these guys were sitting here talking about what they would have done if they had won the $1.5 billion Powerball lottery yesterday.
Or what we're going to do when one of us wins.
Or what you're going to do.
Talking that Keith
like
Sweat stuff.
Brockman's buying an island.
Yeah.
Del Tufo's going back to a life of illicit.
Let's not even speak about debauchery.
Illicit debauchery.
Wow.
He could buy all the Instagram followers he wants at that point. He could buy all of them.
Hire someone to do it for me.
Buy Instagram.
He could buy Instagram.
I can buy Instagram.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Kim Kardashian will sell him Instagram with Cristiano Ronaldo. And TJ, I didn't even hear what TJ was going to do. He would buy the Dallas Cowboys. I'm holding in my hand my ticket. So, true story. Yesterday, NFL Network, I'm sitting there getting ready to do our pregame show, NFL Game Day Kickoff. Yours truly and the always affable Steve Mariucci. And I realized, I hadn't bought a lottery ticket. Now, two things might have happened. Also, about a half hour earlier, I went all throughout the building, every little snack bar. We have a beautiful facility there in Inglewood. All these little snack kiosks with the coffee machines and the little snacks. I love pretzels.
Oh.
We're out of pretzels. We have little roll gold bags all over I can't. I circled the damn building looking for pretzels. So I'm like, I need my pretzels. It's like my vice, like what Del Tufo was talking about, buying all the pretzels in the world after he wins the lottery. Not really. White pretzels. So I decided, chocolate covered, I meant, like the white chocolate. I decided I am going to walk across the street from our building, right at SoFi, if you've been...
Arborvitae's is in the road.
Yes, been Arbor Vitae, Vidi, however you say it. I walked across Prairie to buy my big bag of pretzels and also my Powerball ticket, which, let's do some live lottery lookup here. Huh?
Yes, do it live.
Well, I know I didn't win the big thing. The big thing is up to 1.7.
What if you have the app, you can just do the check my ticket.
I don't want to do that. No.
Can
here
you
we go.
scan the ticket?
I am doing here.
It tells you how much you won immediately.
16, 34, 46, 55, 67.
Our number's 14.
Do I get at least $1 or $2 here? Okay,
if
hold on.
If you have just the power number, that's $4. Oh.
Can you see if the radio listeners can hear this?
Oops.
However, when's the next one? Wednesday. I promise I will do. If I win on Wednesday, you have my word on it. I will do Thursday's show.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Can you just like
what a blessing?
Can you Clooney us? Just like give me $1 million in a backpack?
What is that? What do you mean?
Clooney gave all of his high school friends or something $1 million in cash, and prepaid the taxes
for like when he
made
it
I think when he sold Casamigos.
Yeah.
$1 million in a backpack.
Something like that, yeah, or just like wired the money to their account.
No,
but,
sounds like a buddy I know who won a Survivor pool.
Yeah, backpacks are way cooler.
Yeah, it was a suitcase filled with cash, and it was like 11 guys, like you said. I don't think they were high. I think they were just friends.
Tight friends.
This sounds like the start of a movie. I give you all $1 million, a bottle of tequila, and a backpack.
Yeah,
right.
Make it home.
And then it's a race through the desert.
Yeah, the winner gets it all.
Right. The winner gets it, an Alec Baldwin movie. Anyway, hi everybody.
Let's go.
Welcome into the Rich Eisen Show. I'm Andrew. The phone number is 844-204-RICH, 844-204-RICH. Rich will be with us coming up live from London, Big Ben Parliament, and Rich in his lovely hotel room. And I mean that like I'm not mad, I'm impressed, to quote another anchor man one day. He will join us from London as they get ready for the Titans and the Ravens coming up on Sunday live on NFL Network. Also on NFL Plus. You can obviously, as mentioned, the Roku channel, the Twitter, the Instagram, the YouTube page, Rich Eisen Show, Odyssey, and Sirius XM. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Tom Curran will be here. If anyone knows the Patriots from a media standpoint, it is Tom Curran. What's going on there? Is Bill Belichick going to be the coach next year? Is Mac Jones going to be the quarterback next week? And we will play for you some Patriots callers that sound like a Jimmy Fallon SNL bit. It's that wild. Next hour, actually 2 hours from now, Colts running back Zach Moss will join us as well. As for the game last night, The Raiders won. They beat the Packers 17-13. The two teams are both 2-3. You look at them and you go, neither is really that good. But really, two very different storylines after that game. For the Raiders, you have Max Crosby playing his tail off, a one-man wrecking crew on national television. The stats don't even tell the story. He had 5 tackles, 1 sack, 4 TFLs, a bunch of hurries. But when you look at the PFF analytics, eventually when the numbers come out in the breakdown, he dominated the game. So many pressures and this and that, and pass rush win rate. Can't wait to see that. He personally dominated the game. And the Raiders, for the last 2 years, have been the worst team. Not near the bottom. The worst team in the NFL defensively when it comes to forcing turnovers. No one's even close. They are that bad. Last night, the Raiders forced 3 turnovers. Jordan Love, weeks 3 through 5, 6 interceptions. Were they all his fault? I don't know. Maybe. Last night, didn't play well. The Packers, without Aaron Jones, are a different team. Without David Bakhtiari, a different team. And Jordan Love has got to do a lot. And he has got to figure it out with this young group of wide receivers, obviously, with their own list of injuries as well. That was only Justin Watson's second game of the season last night. They weren't necessarily on the same page. Matt LaFleur talked afterwards about those wide receivers needing to be better, tracking deep balls, coming back for the ball, coming out of their break and fighting for the ball in the deep shots, because right now the Packers are as bad a team as it is in the NFL on completing deep passes down the field. Without Aaron Jones, it's a bad look right now. They had a mini bye to get ready for this game. They played Thursday last week, then had the weekend off. They had 10 days to prepare. Now they have another bye. It is back to the drawing board time. Hopefully get healthy with Aaron Jones here for the Packers. Clearly, this is not their division in the NFC North. They already lost and lost badly last week to the Lions, a game after which Matt LaFleur said, we got our asses kicked. Yesterday, he didn't say that, kind of toned it down a little bit, but he realizes they have a lot of work to do. I am not yet writing Jordan Love off. I mean, don't do that. First couple of weeks, his numbers were great. Week 3, not so great early in the game against the Saints, but then he had that great fourth quarter rally, won the game after Derek Carr got hurt. I think the Saints win it if Carr doesn't get hurt, but that's not the case. He rallied him back, Love did. I still very much believe in Jordan Love. You're going to have up, you're going to have down. Last night was certainly the down. As for the Raiders, bear with me here. I think the Raiders are in position to go on a little bit of a run. I do.
Yeah, their schedule is favorable.
It is. Are they a good team? No, they are not. They're not. But half the league's 2-2. We're 2 and whatever. Look, this is a 500 league right now, and the Raiders are a 2-3 team. The Raiders next week. Who do they get, Brockman?
Patriots.
They get Bill Belichick's New England Patriots.
Bad game.
Coming to town. Not a great game.
Bad football.
But hey, you two's at the Sphere.
Hey.
I think my brother's going tonight.
Del Tufo, you're going tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow night.
Wait, maybe.
No, that's
maybe.
tomorrow night.
Hold on.
Tomorrow night.
Wait back for a text from my brother. Maybe you guys will be there
together
on the same day.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think they're playing.
Are you only going once, Mike, or twice?
Once.
I never know. You got to ask.
I can only ask the favor once.
Okay. Look at you, Del Tufo. If he wins the lottery, he's going to buy the Sphere.
I will buy the Sphere.
Yeah.
From James Dolan? Yeah,
yes.
right.
Yeah. He'll give it to you. Why not? Anyway.
And the Knicks.
Yeah, good luck with that one. If he hears you may want to buy the Knicks, he will ban you from the building.
That's true.
He'll treat you like Charles Oakley. So the Raiders get the Patriots, and then they go to Chicago. And then they go to Detroit because they're getting a third primetime game by week 8. But what if I told you the Raiders are looking at 4-3? Now, again, they are not even close to good enough to start looking at the schedule and checking off wins. But I did just do that. But if they could, I don't know, maybe learn to run the football a little bit more consistently. At least they were dedicated to the run last night. They gave Josh Jacobs 20 carries. If they could find Davante Adams in the first half, which was stunning that they did not last night. And I'm not just talking for angry fantasy, yell at the TV, it's Monday night, I need to rally and win purposes. That wasn't me. I was already winning. Thank you, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, and Tyreek Hill. Yes, I said Desmond Ridder and Sam Howell. But they need more than one target in the first half for Davante Adams, who had 33 targets in the previous 2 games combined. I think the Raiders can go on a little bit of a run. I really, 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 really do. Their defense came around last night, and the Packers' defense played well, but not well enough, which takes us, as we circle back to the Packers, to that side of the ball, and what was said in the locker room after the game. Now, I do not think this is dissension. I do not think this is we're throwing the kid quarterback under the bus already. I think this is a very good player who is unflinchingly honest most times, just speaking honestly after the game. But Hoskins, if we could cue up Jair Alexander, everyone listen to this.
Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty obvious that the defense has to not give up any touchdowns, I think that's a part of being self-critical of our defense because, the offense is pretty young, and they're still figuring out their mojo. So, the defense, we got to be the ones to score and stop them from scoring.
That one read a lot differently than it actually sounds there now when you watch it. On Twitter, it read, we can't give up touchdowns with this offense if we're going to win a game. But he also says there, we have to be self-critical. The Packers are in a position now where they need the defense to carry the offense. And honestly, the defense just is not good enough. It isn't. Now, Joe Barry's team played better last night. Joe Barry being the defensive coordinator, who's under a lot of fire in Green Bay. This year is no different. Last year, the same thing. But the Packers are truly a team in transition. You thought maybe coming into the year, the way they got out of the gates and they pounded the Bears at Soldier Field week 1, that this transition would be a lot easier than you thought it would be. The growing pains with Jordan Love maybe weren't going to be there. Hey, they're going to compete with the Lions. Hey, they're going to compete with the Vikings, who are, well, yeah, that's getting ugly. We'll get to that in a minute. But you know what it is after 5 games? I think the Packers are exactly what we thought they would be. A team in transition with a quarterback who is trying to figure it out, and a team that really, like most good teams, have a hard time overcoming injuries to their best players. And without Aaron Jones, he's only been active twice. They are a different team. You also have to wonder whether or not they needed him out there for those 5 carries last week against the Lions. Like, if he isn't ready, He's not ready. Joe Buck relayed during the first quarter of that game, or maybe Troy, one of the two, and they were having fun last night. Like, can you name a Texas Ranger? Did anyone hear that?
No.
Anyone hear that?
That's funny.
At one point, they're discussing the baseball playoffs. Somehow it came up, and Troy said something about, yeah, my Texas Rangers. And Joe, just without even missing a beat, goes, your Texas Rangers. For $100 right now, name a Ranger.
Could he do it?
He did. Or maybe he said name 4 Rangers for $100. He didn't even try to do it. Hi, this is me sitting on my feet now. I feel more comfortable as a 49-year-old man sitting on my feet. So, yeah. Where were we? Oh, yeah, Joe revealed during the game, or maybe Troy early on in the first quarter, that Matt LaFleur was kind of agitated, not mad at Aaron Jones, but when they had